Welcome back, yet again. We're still saving up for more of the very expensive nuclear power plant buildings. So I decided to throw down some solar panels to see if they will help reduce some of our coal consumption. Spoiler, they don't do much. I set up some hand-fed assemblers to build our nuclear power plant buildings. We don't want them in line, stealing all of our resources. We're not even using all the heat from the first reactor yet, but the allure of the reactor neighbor bonus has me blinded. Nuclear power requires water to make steam to function. This water pipe isn't pumping in water at the moment, so the nuclear plant isn't doing anything now except wasting fuel. Right now that's okay, since the coal plant is still supplying power while we move the pipes around. But naturally, if something were to happen to this pipeline after we switched entirely to nuclear power, terrible things would happen. So, what's our next goal? Trains, of course. These 3 nests support all of our nuclear power. Now that we have logistic bots, I can set up my inventory how I want. It's time to make full use of my modular armor. With some modules, or some equipment. Might as well automate poison capsules, since we seem to be using a lot of them. Well, it looks like we're doing okay on stone. And yet, somehow, only half the belt is full. Fixed. It looks like one of my assistants is hard at work setting up our future rail network. This should make making outposts even easier when it's ready. Since we have absurd amounts of stone, and things are moving so slowly, I decide to pave the base. I'm ready for our base to look like an actual base now. I don't know if the bots are ready for that task though. I decide to switch to using concrete instead of bricks, which also takes some iron. But, as I like to say, it's probably fine. I decide that just concrete isn't enough to express my artistic vision, so I add assemblers for the other concrete types as well. I had to go digging through the settings to figure out how to change the concrete brush size. This playthrough has given me so much free time while waiting for things to happen, I ended up playing with a lot of the things in the game I had never really bothered with before. And in this session especially. The end result though is, especially this episode, I get really distracted. So hopefully you're not watching these videos to see what an optimal playthrough looks like. Or even a good one. I made this tree look nice though. Or at least more dangerous. Lab's looking pretty. The first train is now up and running and bringing back ore to the base from some outpost. As paving madness continues to consume my every thought, I build a brick path to the stone outpost, in case you wanted to walk there, for some reason. An issue with any biter base in our pollution cloud, like the ones near the starting location, is that they will absorb pollution to spawn biters to form attack groups. Each base has an attack group rally point, and if that rally point is out of range of the turrets, they will be able to build a large group, which can then overwhelm the turrets, or just go off in an unpredictable direction and attack something undefended. We moved the starter coal farm, so now it also helps with the starter iron farm. Well, the concrete is slowly coming along. I'm sorry, bots, for giving you so much work. We finally made it to producing blue chips. I set up a new oil outpost to increase our oil intake. My assistant's body is somewhere within that biter base, so I'll clear out all the biters of poison. But which would kill my assistant again faster, the biters or the poison? Hopefully not the poison. The biters can stun lock you or block you, so I guess the poison is actually safer. Alright, they got it. Mission successful. Getting some personal shields. This should make farming a lot safer. Despite my many hours in this game, I never really learned how to do trains before. This will not deter me from attempting to build my own terrible rail network, though. Alright, I've built my own separate rail system, which is not only terrible, but also completely incompatible with the other rail system. Also, all the units are Imperial. We now have big enemies spawning, putting us in the Big Biter and Big Spitter epoch. Our lasers seem to be enough to handle them though, which is great. Whoa, a surprise forest worm. Guess I'll make here the end of the rail line then. One of my assistants guides me on how to properly build our railway. Ha! Dodged it. Whoa, second train. Well, back to decorating. Huh, did I just see? There it was again. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no no no. So remember when I said how important water was for nuclear power? Okay, that fixed it. But what did that brief power outage cost us? That is a lot of alerts. The entire map is nothing but alerts. I don't know when the water pipes were moved and not properly connected, but it seems like our base has been running purely on coal for some time. And now the coal buffers are empty. The nuclear power plant isn't enough to power the entire base alone yet. I have to try to refuel the boilers with the coal I have on hand. There is still some coal left on the belt still coming in, but the boiler inserters are all electric, so we'll still need to hand insert it. Biters have had time to break through walls and destroy several turrets. It's now an uphill battle for the defenses. We're, gonna pretend none of this happened. We have just 20 seconds from the autosave to get power back online. We need to quickly refuel the coal-powered boilers. I scrounged the base looking for coal. Production science unlocked. Well, despite the alarm still going off, we do manage to fix power. The stone farm continues to do its own paving. That's so much stone. So much stone. Utility science unlocked. That's all the sciences we need. I love bots. I also really like the look of these belt blankets. It's such a unique looking way to farm resources in Factorio. Well, because it is a pretty unique way of farming resources. And it's finally working well now. Though still absurdly slow. We are finally producing enough that our pollution output is contributing more to biter evolution than time. Like a real base. Setting up our first rocket ingredient, low density structures. We now have utility science fully automated. And now we have production science fully automated. That's all the sciences we need automated. On the one hand, farming biters is nicer than mining because it's infinite. On the other hand, it's really easy to accidentally erase your source of resources. Well, that's all the sciences automated and on their way to the labs. Time for more concrete. It's time we properly defend our spaceship wreck medium. And the rest of our remaining spaceship wrecks too. This is maybe a bit of a hazardous place to put a rail line, but I feel like the biters are already sufficiently distracted, so it should be fine. And it can't be worse than Amtrak. And there. I have connected my poorly designed and probably completely incompatible Eastern Railway with the Western Railway. Let's see what everyone's been building out here. Yep, I can tell my friend built this section. Oh, oops. I finally rebuild my precious and very useful outpost power plant. This time I'll even defend it. Some stray uranium biters decided to join up with the nearby copper biters at their base. I like seeing all the different colored biters on the map. I set up another iron farm in the east for even more iron. I think it's funny that we noticed at the beginning of the game how much iron was in the east, yet somehow we built almost exclusively to the west. Something we can do to get the biters to reactivate when they go idle is to have a player pass by them. Since most of the outposts are connected by rail now, we can simply schedule the train to drive around to the various outposts with a player riding in it. These sessions have all been many hour-long sessions, so it's also a way to keep contributing even while taking a break to eat. Thanks to my dubious design, the path the train takes is similarly dubious, but it'll still get me everywhere quickly nonetheless, so it's all good. Now the game is just about setting up more and more outposts. I like how shields somehow work against poison gas. Fish, too. If you're ever bitten by a wild animal or breathe in poison, simply apply fish to the wound. We now have enough iron ore coming in for a second belt of iron smelting. These cliffs are awful. Perfect. No chat. Hail spaghetti! Oh. Ow. The rails have directions. I guess my import left-driving train is on the wrong side of the rail. Well, I'm just as good at driving in reverse, so... Wait, how do I turn around? Ow. I decide to upgrade to power armor. This may seem like a waste of resources. It is! We continue to mostly ignore the east and continue pushing west. It looks like my assistants are setting up yet another farm up in the northwest. If these were regular mines, we'd be producing megabase level of resources with all this. Instead, we're still producing only starter base levels. This is about how much we're producing now. The belts are full, or mostly full though. I've built more or less all that we need now, so I go back to decorating. The nuclear power plant could use some concrete as well. People need to know where it's dangerous to walk. There, much better. I actually really love the glow of nuclear power in this game. It's very pretty. And now it's officially part of the same base. Boop. With some free time on my hands and some power armor, I decide it's time to attempt the Golem achievement. Because why not? Nailed it. Yellow spaghetti all the way. We don't need any fast belts. And yet I also decide to unlock logistic boxes, which is definitely antipasta. I managed to convert my assistant to the way of the yellow spaghetti as well. These belt ghosts will serve as a warning to any speedy belts that try to ruin our spaghetti. I then ruin our spaghetti by equipping our nuclear building assemblers with logistic chests. The railway is maybe a bit, strange. That's definitely not the path I expected the train to have to take. Seems maybe a bit suboptimal. Well, it's still way faster than walking or belts. It's time to more than double our nuclear power production. We start outfitting all the outposts with bots, so that the outposts can handle their own repairs when necessary. Or replace anything that just happens to get blown up. That sounds really bad. It seems to be an alarm for if the uranium ore belt isn't fully saturated. But this is fine, we don't need an entire yellow belt of uranium ore. And it just means that the centrifuges are keeping up. We should probably turn off that alarm though. Well, max volume does seem to be the appropriate volume though, considering how bad it got last time power went out. I set up the second rocket ingredient, rocket fuel. I like rocket fuel. It's very easy. Three full chests will be enough for one fully moduled rocket silo. We finally finished researching the last rocket part, rocket control units. We just need to finish the module researches and then the rocket silo research. And I'm already distracted. And with that one assembler, rocket control units are now technically fully automated. We now have all the rocket parts slowly building up. Well, I'm mostly done with the concrete, so I guess I'll play with lamps. These are another thing I've actually never used before. So many new things. Oh look, the uranium alarm is going off again. But quietly. I'm sure those will be much more impressive when it's nighttime. Even the pipes are not safe from pastification. Or concrete. I set it up so when these lamps turn on, it means we have all the required approximately 720 of that rocket part. Here and earlier over by nuclear building assemblers is also my first time trying out circuit conditions. I'm learning a lot in this single session of Factorio. If you haven't tried multiplayer Factorio before, I highly recommend it. It seems my massively underbuilt green circuit production was indeed massively underbuilt. So we spaghetti some more in. Somehow we're now either producing science packs fast enough, or have enough of a buffer, but now all the labs are running, and the science pack belts are backing up. Time to add beacons! We can reuse the beacons for the rocket silo later. Though, considering how slow the rest of the playthrough has been, I don't think saving a few extra seconds by the rocket building slightly faster will change much. I guess that's one way to inject resources onto the bus. And now, finally, we start the final research. Rocket silo. Here are our kill statistics up to this point. And some of our other production stats. I like the idea of kills being considered production. It's pretty fitting for this playthrough. These giant train engines somehow only have one seat in them, so I quickly grab another locomotive to sit in. Now we can ride together. I'm getting revenge on that copper biter base that attacked my poor defenseless outpost power plant. Never mind, I died. And now it's another completed outpost. Hey, stop that. This one base is just never-ending problems. I like these biters just popping into existence, completely unfazed by the nearby turrets. Oh wow, all those shields actually saved me. The West Iron Outpost is looking absolutely fantastic now. That's so much iron ore. I still love watching all the ore slide around when you place down buildings. And that's where we stopped for this session. We played for 13 hours straight, but we had only one technology left to research, and one rocket to build. How long could that possibly take?